In the business environment that you and many other businesses operate in, especially now, you realize there are a lot of variables, a lot of changes, especially when you're dealing with COVID, you're dealing with supply chain issues, you're dealing with macroeconomic factors, you're dealing with competition. Lots of variables that are going on. Companies are asking themselves how to be more adept at responding quickly to the shifts that they're seeing. Especially large companies are having a difficult time to adapt to the market as it's changing so quickly. And companies are asking themselves, how do we get more agile, better to respond to these things that are happening in the business? And I would argue that there are at least two things that you should be thinking about to give yourself more corporate agility. External, internal. When you think about external, being aware of multiple factors and having everyone understand the external realities that you deal with. What do your customers really want, and how do you deliver that better than anybody else? But it's not just about customers. You also have to understand what your supply chain is looking like. You also want to understand what the regulatory environment looks like. You also want to understand what the competition looks like. Do you understand the outside? Because oftentimes in businesses, they're so focused on product and so focused on trying to innovate, but they're doing it absent of understanding the market that they participate in. So the better you can be in understanding the outside, then to understand where you can better respond quickly in a way that adds more value to the customers in the market that you're delivering to. But now you start to get to the internal, because no amount of external understanding is actually gonna drive value without being able to actually execute that on a day-to-day basis. So when you're thinking about that quote, that culture eats strategy for breakfast, I think that's really true. All right, you've got a great strategy, you've got great products, you understand your markets, and your customers love you. But the market is shifting so quickly, and you've got lots of competition coming in, that if you don't have a culture of innovation, of process orientation, of efficiencies, and being able to communicate and align resources internally to be able to effectuate that strategy, well, the reality is no amount of great products is actually going to give you a market advantage if you can't operate well internally. So if you can understand your external market well, and then the internal operational dynamics of the business to respond quickly to that, I think is vital on both sides of that. And oftentimes we'll find that either companies will be good strategically, but not good tactically, or companies will be really good tactically, but really have missed the market understanding strategically. If you can combine both of those together, that gives you a much greater advantage to be much more agile and give you a much greater market advantage to the customers you're really trying to serve.